The things I say in this video is not something I figured out myself. This is something my wife figured out. However, she doesn't speak English very well, so I'm gonna make a video instead. When you suffer from amnesia, the way to recover your memory is by being exposed to things you were familiar with, to things you had love for, or at least a passionate relationship to. So, for example, if you have lost your memory, you will be exposed to a child of yours, or your wife or husband, and so forth, or some item that you love, something that you were very closely connected to emotionally. When you see these things or these persons, you start to remember, and then you start to remember things connected to them and so forth, and that's how you regain your memory. In this video I'm going to explain how you can know yourself, how you can recognize yourself and be reborn as yourself. So you see, what you do is that you enter the burial mound and you recognize the items that you owned in your previous life. And when you do, you start to remember your previous life. It opens up, you start to grow brain cells, so to speak. You start to remember not only your experiences, but also all the things that you actually knew in your former life. So just like with amnesia, you see the things that you were emotionally connected to somehow, and you recognize them. And when you do, it opens up the world that you used to live in. It opens up everything that you were. You remember it. You start to remember. You see the male shirt that you were buried with maybe 200 years ago. You see the sword, and you start to remember. And this is like the trigger that enables you to remember everything. You really become yourself. You really remember who you were. And this is only possible, of course, if you were that person in the grave, if it's actually you. And therefore you have certain tests that will enable you to identify yourself, or rather that enables the society to identify you as this person. And when you have been identified as this person, or if you have been identified as a potential candidate to be reborn as this person, you gather all these individuals who would potentially be that person in the grave, and you test them. You present some of the items that this person used to own, and only those who recognize them. If you for example put 5 different swords on the table, and only those who pick the right sword would be that person. And then you have a multitude of such tests, and in the end you will be left with only one candidate, and this is the right person. And when this person enters the grave to collect the rest of his former belongings, he will become himself. And as we know from the mythology and from fairy tales, it is often important to know your name. What was your name? And then you have certain nicknames for a person. But in order to be reborn, and people would know the person from his or her nicknames, but in order to be reborn as this person, you have to enter the grave, and then the password that you have to give to the person inside waiting for you would be the name of that person. Who were you? What is your name? And if you know, then you're the right person. And you can know because you have seen the items you used to own. You have started the process of remembering. And then you can enter the burial mound and realize that my name is this or that. You remember all of a sudden. So it's not just a theory. It's not just superstitions. It's not just religion. It's actually quite scientific, as you can see from those who suffer from amnesia. They regain their memories. They start to remember again by being presented to these items, and they become themselves eventually. And so can you, if you identify yourself and become yourself again. And when you do, you remember what you used to know.